Meal prep should save you time, but most recipes take an entire Sunday to make. These two burrito recipes, though, are quick and easy alternatives to meal prep. Plus, they only take 5 minutes to reheat. And if you're willing to put in 10% more work for 10 times the flavor, I'll show you two amazing sauce recipes as well. Our first recipe is going to be a cheesy beef burrito with the Chipotle crema sauce. First thing we're gonna do is grab our rice cooker, and in there we're gonna throw in 2 cups of dried basmati rice. I'm then gonna head on over to our sink, fill our bowl with water, and then mix the rice in with the water and then pour off the excess. I'm gonna repeat these steps 2 more times, and yes, washing your rice is important. I guarantee it's gonna make it better. Once your rice is washed and drained, I'm gonna now pour in 2 cups of water or stock if you wanna add more flavor, and hit it with a pinch of salt. I'm gonna close the lid on our rice cooker and then turn that sucker on. That felt as stupid as it looked. While that cooks, we're gonna quickly do our very fast prep work, which is grabbing 1 lime, and with the zester, I'm gonna zest the entire lime and just run my knife through it 1 or 2 times to get a little small. I'll also split the lime in half and juice half of it until we get 1 tablespoon of lime juice. I'm gonna now grab 1 entire bundle of cilantro, and then with the knife, I'm just gonna shave off as much of the leaves as I can. I'll then run my knife through it a few times until we get a nice mincing. And I'm chopping the whole bundle because both recipes uses a fair bit of cilantro. Sorry if you have that soap gene. And lastly, we're gonna shred our cheese, which is Colby Jack cheese. I'm just gonna shred the whole 8-ounce block, and again, this cheese will be used in both of our burrito recipes. Now, it was around this time that our rice was actually already done, so I'm gonna take it out of the container and pour it into a bowl. I'm then gonna squeeze in 2 tablespoons of lime juice, which is about 1 whole lime, and I'm gonna hit it with 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter and about 1/4 of a cup of our minced cilantro. I'm gonna give it a mixing and let that steam melt the butter and fully mix all the cilantro and lime juice together. I'm gonna give it a taste, and it's not quite buttery or acidic enough, so I'm gonna throw in 2 more tablespoons of butter as well as the other half of the lime that we didn't squeeze earlier. I'm gonna give it 1 last mixing while the rice is still hot, and I'm gonna give it a tasting, and now it tastes perfect. Now I'm gonna set this to the side, and we're now gonna work on our ground meat. I have here some ground meat, and this is a 90-10 blend, so a little bit more on the leaner side. I'm gonna set our 12-inch pan to medium-high heat, and then I'm gonna squeeze in about 2 to 3 tablespoons of olive oil, and then I'm gonna throw in all of our ground meat, making sure to press it down and chop it up into small little pieces. I'm also gonna sprinkle in a little bit of salt, and I'm gonna continue chopping it and cooking this down until it's fully cooked and all the moisture has been pulled out of the meat. Once the meat is looking nicely dry and crumbly, we're gonna now throw in 3.5 tablespoons of our taco seasoning. You can use store-bought taco mix, or if you want, you can make an even better version at home very easily. All you need to do is grab a small container and throw in 1 tablespoon of chili powder, 1 teaspoon of cornstarch, 2 teaspoons of salt, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of cumin, 1 teaspoon of paprika, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, and 1 teaspoon or a few cranks of fresh black pepper. Give it a good mixing, and this taco seasoning is so much better than the store-bought stuff. I think it's worth making at home. I'm also gonna throw in 1 tablespoon of brown sugar, as well as 1 tablespoon of tomato paste and 3/4 of a cup of beef stock, or any stock of your choice. Now we're gonna give this a good thorough mixing, making sure to incorporate everything, and now we're gonna leave it at medium-high heat, stirring it and letting it reduce to concentrate all those flavors. Make sure to keep mixing it. I don't know why I got stunned when I decided to flip the pan a little bit. Ooh. Oh, I don't know why that freaked me out. When about 80% of the liquid is now cooked off from the pan, the meat should be beautifully seasoned and have a nice little moisture to it. I'm gonna now move it into a bowl, and now this is our flavor bomb of our ground beef. Now, before we could build these Chipotle burritos, let's very quickly make our delicious Chipotle crema. Now, in a high-sided container, we're gonna throw in 1/2 cup of Duke's mayo, 1/4 of a cup of sour cream, 2 Chipotle peppers in adobo, 1 tablespoon of whole grain or regular Dijon mustard, 1 tablespoon of our lime juice, all of our lime zest, half a cup of our chopped cilantro, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, half a teaspoon of kosher salt, and a few cranks of black pepper. I'm gonna next grab my immersion blender and I'm gonna stick it in there and blend and mix and break down all those ingredients together. Once it's all blended together, I'm gonna now pour this into a bowl, and now this is your insanely delicious Chipotle crema. But now it's time for us to assemble our beef burrito. We're gonna first grab our 12-inch tortilla, and then we're gonna layer in our shredded Kobe cheese in there. I'll then give it a nice scoop of our cilantro lime rice, as well as our nicely salted black beans. Now this is from just a regular can of black beans. This is a 1-pound can that I'm gonna use in both recipes. I'm gonna pour it into a strainer into the sink, and I'm gonna wash off all those excess juices that are on the black beans. This is technically a massive sin, but we wanna reduce some of the moisture on the beans. I'm gonna pour my strained beans into a bowl, and I'm gonna hit them with half a teaspoon of salt. Give it a thorough mixing, and now these are your dry black beans for your burrito. We'll next throw down our super flavorful ground meat, a few pickled red onions, because why not? And a few of these bean sprouts that I found at a local farmer's market, though you could just use regular cilantro or just skip this step. Now I'm gonna fold and roll up this sucker like so by tucking in the sides and gently bringing it all together. You can now wrap this guy in aluminum foil and then store it in the freezer and then eat it whenever you want. But I'm gonna toast this one right now because I'm hungry and I need B-roll. I'm gonna toast each of the 4 sides of it, which I'll admit I usually only toast 2 sides, but I'm just making it look a little prettier on camera. I'll then slide that onto my cutting board, split it in half, and behold, a beautiful beef burrito with a Chipotle crema that tastes absolutely phenomenal, especially considering that this is for meal prep. Meal prepped food has never tasted this good before, but with this recipe, it'll change your mind forever. Our second recipe is going to be a Chipotle marinated chicken burrito with a jalapeno crema sauce. But before we can make it, I would like to remind you guys to please hit the like and subscribe button if you're enjoying this video. Now let's first make the marinade for our chicken. We're gonna grab a medium-sized bowl, and in there we're gonna pour in 6 tablespoons worth of olive oil, 2 tablespoons worth of honey, 2 tablespoons of lime juice, which is about 1 lime, 6 cloves of crushed garlic, which I just crushed with my garlic crusher, and don't you dare say that's not enough garlic. 3 to 4 minced chipotle peppers in adobo, which I just minced them with my knife on a separate cutting board because they do tend to stain very easily. 1 teaspoon of cumin, 3 teaspoons of salt, and about half to 1/4 of a yellow onion. To slice the yellow onion, I just cut off the tip, split it in half, peeled off the outside layer, chopped off the root, and then ran my knife through it, giving us nice long strands. I'm gonna give this mixture a mixing, making sure to incorporate everything, and then I'm gonna grab 1 pound of boneless, skinless chicken thighs. Tossing them in there and then mixing them around with the marinade, getting it fully covered and coating our chicken thighs. Now you can let this sit and marinate overnight for optimal maximum flavor, but I'm a little hungry, so we're gonna cook this guy right now. I'm gonna head on over to our oven and set to 450 degrees convection bake, and while it preheats, we're gonna now grab our black beans from the previous recipe. Just to do a little texture change, we're gonna hit them with a potato masher and mash them down, giving us a refried black beans kind of texture. I'll admit, it looks a little banged up, but there's no going back now, so yeah. Now our oven has preheated. I'm gonna grab a sheet pan and lay down all of our chicken onto it, and include the onions too, because those will cook down nicely and add a lot of flavor. I'm gonna throw them into our oven, and I'm gonna check back on them in about 20 minutes. That'll give us plenty of time to make our delicious cilantro jalapeno crema. In a high-sided container, we're gonna throw in half a cup of Duke's mayo, 1/4 of a cup of sour cream, 1 tablespoon of lime juice, plus the zest of that lime as well, half a cup of cilantro, 1 clove of garlic crushed, 2 jalapenos that I just cut off the root, split them in half, removed all that spicy seeds and flesh, and I just chopped my knife through them really quickly. 1 tablespoon of whole grain Dijon mustard or regular Dijon mustard, half a teaspoon of salt, and a few cranks of black pepper. I'm gonna next grab our immersion blender, and I'm gonna blend that sucker up, fully breaking down all the cilantro and jalapenos, making sure everything everything's nicely mixed together. And this is our cilantro jalapeno crema. If you're worried about the jalapenos making this spicy, I don't think it's spicy at all. It has a little kick, but I think you should be accepting of it. Now our chicken's been in the oven for about 15 to 20 minutes. I'm gonna check the internal temperature, and as you can see, it's definitely cooked, but I think we need to get to 185 for dark meat. So I'm gonna throw it back in the oven, but this time on the top rack, and I'm gonna set it to broil for about 3 to 4 minutes. About 4 minutes later, our chicken has a nice little char to it. I'm gonna scoop out all those good onions that didn't crisp up too much, and I'm gonna move the chicken now to a cutting board. I'm gonna run my knife through my chicken, chopping them into nice bite-sized little cubes, and now it's time to build our burrito. Now I'm gonna grab ourselves a large 12-inch tortilla, and then I'm gonna layer down some of our Kobe shredded cheese from earlier, as well as some of our cilantro lime rice from earlier too. I'll next hit it with our crushed black beans, followed by a healthy layer of our chopped Chipotle chicken thighs, a few pickled red onions for a little pop, and more of those microgreens that I got at the farmer's market. It's optional, you could just use cilantro or just skip this part. Now I'm gonna fold over the burrito and press it, making sure everything's nicely compact. I'm gonna fold the sides in and then roll it over, completing our burrito. Now you could keep making more, wrapping them in aluminum foil until you can store them in the freezer, but I am once again hungry, so I'm gonna toast this one on a pan on all sides, and then I'm gonna split it open, and behold, our beautiful Chipotle chicken burrito. Filled with rice, beans, beautifully seasoned Chipotle chicken, pickled onions, and we cannot forget about our cilantro jalapeno crema. This guy was insanely delicious, and I meal prepped a few more in my freezer, so I'm gonna be eating this throughout the week. Now let me quickly show you guys how to reheat one of these burritos from frozen in less than 5 minutes. You're first gonna grab one of our frozen burritos, and then you're gonna grab a damp paper towel and wrap that paper towel around the burrito. I'm gonna now throw that burrito in the microwave for 3 minutes, and in the meantime, I'm gonna preheat a nonstick pan. Once the burrito is out of the microwave, I'm gonna throw it down on our now preheated pan and toast both sides for just 30 seconds to 1 minute each. I'll move this burrito back onto our plate, and now it is ready to eat. If you want another burrito recipe or learn how to make it from scratch, here's the link to my ultimate burrito recipe. It tastes just as good, and it probably freezes as well as this guy. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit the like and subscribe button and have a wonderful rest of your day.